Charlie?
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome to the program on your Wednesday afternoon. Gorgeous Wednesday going on out there. And as usual, we've got a ton of stuff to talk about today. I have found that right around 7 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then about 2:30 in the afternoon, that's where everything just goes crazy. It just absolutely goes nuts. Those are the three times that I can, okay, 2:30's coming. Watch out. 2:45, that area there. So we got a lot of stuff breaking. We'll try to get to as much of this as we can. Let's go to Esther in Powdersville. How you doing, Esther?
I'm good.
Okay.
I just wanted to give you. I called Lindsey Graham's office and Tim Scott's office
Right.
concerning their vote for Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, you know, I know, and everybody else knows, trying to get a straight answer is like trying to find your shadow in a dark room.
Isn't that the truth?
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. So what did they say?
Well,
Anything?
Well, the girl that I spoke to, her name was Margot, and she said she just didn't have that information.
Oh.
And I asked her who did, if he voted, who did he vote for Senate Majority Leader? Did he vote for John Thune? I just don't have that information. And I said, well, can't you find out for me? Can't you ask somebody in the office around you and let them know? I mean, let me know. No, she said the best thing to get that response is to email him.
Oh, you know what you're going to
said,
get? You're going to get a form email asking for money.
Yep. So I said, well, no, I'm right here. I said, I'm on the phone with you right now. You could ask somebody in the office.
Yeah.
Well, no, you need to email him to get a response.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that's what I got from him. Now, I called Tim Scott's office. Tim Scott's fella, his name was John. He hesitated to tell me his name, so I questioned whether that was his real name.
Right.
But anyway, he said, he was honest. He said that that was done by secret vote.
Yeah.
And I said,
right.
why is anything done concerning the public and your constituents done by secret vote? I said, anything they do in that office should be made public to everybody.
Yep.
I said, I'd like to know whether did he vote for John Thune to be the Senate Majority Leader? It's done by secret ballot. And I said, well, can you not ask him to let me know how he voted? No, it's done by secret ballot. And I said, anything done in that office should be made public to anybody that they represent.
Exactly.
Well, that's just the way they do it.
I understand.
Anyway, they both wanted me to email them.
Right. Of course they did. Pretty amazing.
So,
Esther, I appreciate you being on top of that. Thank you. So what we were talking about with Esther is yesterday we were wondering who voted for John Thune to be the Senate Majority Leader. And that's a secret ballot. And Esther said, and I said yesterday, that I don't think any vote that they have in Washington should be done on a secret ballot. Because if you do something on a secret ballot, I'm not being I can't make sure that I'm being represented. And that's my right as an American taxpayer and as a voter. I want to know how my representative voted. But no, they do that on a secret ballot because, just because they do. So thank you, Esther, for staying on top of that. Well, speaking of Senator Tim Scott, oh, my goodness, he has finally come out and said something.
Listen, Joe, you and I should both agree. Frankly, everyone in the studio should agree. When you have 80+% of Americans, black ones, white ones, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, mixed kids, all say the same thing. Voter ID, common sense. when the vast majority of every demographic in this country comes to the same conclusion that Save America Act should be passed, we should pass it. Only thing standing in our way, Democrats at this point. I'm hopeful that we'll find a path forward on the Save America Act.
Allow me, Senator Scott, if you don't mind, to just correct you a little bit here. It's not just the Democrats. It's also some of your colleagues in the Senate that are holding this thing up, either 4 or 5 of them, which so many people are talking about, but nobody will name names. Y'all got to start naming names in Washington. Have a little more testicular fortitude and name names of these people. So, so now we've got John Thune and we got John Cornyn. John Cornyn is in a race for the Senate in Texas against Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton right now leading in the polls. With or without Donald Trump's endorsement, Ken Paxton is leading in the polls. So now John Thune has actually changed course here. No, I'm sorry, John Cornyn has changed course and is now saying that he would be for doing away with the filibuster. What? Yes. According to NBC News, Senator John Cornyn flips on the filibuster to pass the Save America Act as Trump weighs endorsement. I'll bet he did. Cornyn said he'll support whatever changes the Senate rules that may prove necessary to pass the Save America Act. Cornyn's comments came as a part of an op-ed that he wrote in the New York Times today called Why the SAVE Act Matters More Than the Filibuster. And we'll see what happens with that. So now even John Cornyn is saying, hey, do away with the filibuster. But we know why he's saying do away with the filibuster. Because he really wants that seat. He really, really wants that Senate seat. So interesting things going on right now. Also, got to get to this. Apparently, the FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran could retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at the West Coast, as according to an alert reviewed by ABC News. We recently required information as of early February 2026. Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the U.S. homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California in the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. The warning came just as Trump administration launched its ongoing assaults against the Islamic Republic. Iran has been retaliating with drones against targets throughout the Middle East. So no comment from the FBI on the West Coast with that, but they are alerting police officers or police stations in California to be on the lookout because it could be that I don't think they're gonna. I really don't. I saw one guy over in Iran talking today how they've got a missile that they can launch from under the water that goes 100 meters per second. Oh, 100 meters per second. That's a little over 200 miles an hour. That's about 220 miles an hour. Kyle Berkshire hits a golf ball 240 miles an hour. And you're going to scare you think, first of all, yeah, I bet they don't have that. Even if it's going to go, how fast does it go? It's going to go 100 meters a minute or something like that. Something ridiculous. 100 meters a minute. Oh, okay. There you go. All right. 100 meters a second. I think that's what it was. A little over 200 miles an hour. When we get back, the state legislature did something good, and then they did something bad. We'll tell you both of them. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Grit, truth, and a whole lot of common sense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD Talk line. We'll talk to Scott in Greer. Scott, what's on your mind this afternoon?
Yeah, hey, Charlie. Thanks
sir.
for taking my call. The biggest concern I've got right now in this escalating Iran is we are going to end up getting involved in a boots on the ground, long-term quagmire, and I think that is a huge concern. Of course, costing us $1 billion a day, not to mention lives on both sides. Of course, American lives are.
Okay, Scott, I appreciate your call. Let me tell you something. This war in Iran has been cheaper than the Somali fraud that went on in Minneapolis. It has cost a lot less than that. So there you go. So I don't know. I don't think it is. It's going to be a quiet. I don't think it's going to be a quiet. Donald Trump knows good and well. Pete Hegseth knows good and well that this, and you should know good and well, this is not going to become one of those forever wars that we've all been used to, because previously they had these ridiculous rules of engagement. Everything had to go through the PR department. How's this going to look? What are we going to know? They are going in there to win it and come back home. Period. WRD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Would love to chat with you on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Let's see who we got on the phones there. Who we got there, JJ? All right, Randy is in Travelers Rest. How you doing, Randy?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. What's
I
up?
want to talk about yesterday you had Congressman Timmons on.
Yeah, right.
And he was talking about the sex abuse slush fund that they have there in Congress. And
yeah,
I voted for him. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him. I voted for him. And I want to tell you that I don't think he could be more wrong yesterday, just because he talked about how he didn't want to release the names of some of the accusers and
Right.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And all because of damage to them. And all I want to say is, whose money is it that they're using to pay? And the answer is mine. And you know something? If you're going to use my money, I want to know who used it and paid whom, how much, for what. And it's just because it's my money.
But hold on. Don't you believe that these accusers, some of them who have done nothing except being harassed by members of Congress, don't you think they deserve a little bit of privacy?
Well, the thing about it is that, I admit that some of them aren't victims, and that's why I'm calling them accusers.
Right. I understand.
the
Yes,
thing is that
yes.
I
And
think
I've said that on this
it's
program as
my
well.
money.
Yes. But what
Yeah,
about
but I just want-
the
I just
actual
like to-
victims?
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I just look at it as the fact of it's my money. That's all.
Yeah, I understand that, Randy, and I appreciate it. But here's what you need to do. You need to go ask a woman in your life that if you were sexually harassed by someone in the office and you complained and you won a suit against them or whatever, they paid you, you signed a non-disclosure agreement, would you want your name to be put out there for everybody to know? Ask them. Ask several female members of your family. Let's go to Walter in Anderson. Walter, welcome.
Hello, Charlie. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's up, man?
They're talking about the cost of the war. Well, we haven't heard about the cost of the war in a long time. I mean, what
Yeah.
about the Afghanistan debacle and
Right.
everything like that? And like you said, just the Somali fraud in Minnesota alone, just in Minnesota, is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Charlie. You have a good day.
I appreciate it, Walter. Thank you. But that's it's all about the cost. Well, yesterday in the House of in Columbia, in the state legislature, they did something that I thought we had already done up until a few weeks ago, and that is comply with the one big, beautiful bill. So they passed legislation, and we are now going to go into compliance. Now, if you have already filed your taxes, this means that you're going to go after. Yes, it's exactly what this means. You're going to go back and have to file an amended tax return if you want to take advantage of the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the tax breaks that seniors are going to get. Hey, way to go, state legislature. Here we go in the middle of March. You guys are really helping us out when taxes are due next month, and a lot of people have already filed. Good job. Good job. So they did that. But then they passed a budget. Now, this was a big, big budget. Now, if you ever want a reason, if you're sitting there going, "Oh, Charlie, I'm kind of torn here. I don't know if I'm going to be voting in these primaries coming up in June." If you need a reason to vote in the primaries coming up in June, I want you to listen to Representative Micah Caskey and what he said to Sarita Edgerton. Are you ready?
Balance of the House rules, you will find that there is no provision requiring you to actually read anything. And I think that after this short couple weeks you've been with us, you'll find that too often nobody reads anything.
Excuse me? Wait a minute. Did you actually just say that in the well of the House? You actually just said that in most cases people don't read anything? Well, let me ask you something, Micah Caskey, and all of you Rhino members in Columbia. How are you representing anybody if you don't read the bills? How do you represent that bill? That budget was huge. It was a massive budget. And people are like, how am I supposed to read all of this before the vote? Well, you weren't. You weren't supposed to read all of that before the vote. You were just supposed to trust people like Micah Caskey and Merle Smith and others in leadership. You're just supposed to trust them. We'll tell you. That's not representation. That is the way that Columbia works is so smelly and dirty and slimy and greasy, it's not even funny. These people, they're not even reading the bills. They have no idea what's in a lot of the things that they pass. That's how we get into the condition that we're in here in South Carolina. That's why we're actually funding in the new budget a lesbian podcast. Yeah, you heard me right, JJ. That's right, JJ. You heard me right. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund a lesbian podcast for whatever reason. I have no idea. Lewd artwork, tons of other stuff. Now, that's horrible. But the really bad thing is they come along and they actually increase. This is the largest budget South Carolina has ever had. We're going to talk to some folks next hour about this. This is the largest budget South Carolina has ever had. And they're trying to claim to you that they're cutting taxes? How do you increase spending and cut taxes at the same time? Well, the answer is you don't. This tax plan that they have actually increases taxes for about 20% of South Carolinians. But a lot of people don't know that because Micah Caskey, Davey Hyatt, Merle Smith, they count on one thing. All the little acolytes don't read the bills. That's a shame. It really is. Representation doesn't happen in Columbia. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of nonstop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All righty, let's go to Harry in Greenville over on the WRD talk line. Harry, what's going on with you?
Hello, Charlie. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to call and express my extreme frustration, nothing new, but extreme frustration with Senator Tim Scott.
Yeah.
I just heard the message that you played from him, the audio, blaming the Democrats.
Yeah.
What a cheap shot. The last time I counted, the Republicans are actually in control of the United States Senate. We have a so-called Republican president, and yet, just like they do here in South Carolina in the state legislature, they blame Democrats when they can't pass good legislation. They blame Democrats when bad legislation does get passed. I'm just so fed up with them, Charlie.
So who do you feel is responsible for the government shutdown?
I believe the Republicans are responsible
How?
for the government shutdown.
How?
Because they could pass a spending measure with the 51 vote majority.
No, it's got to have 60 votes unless it's in a reconciliation bill.
Okay, I'll set that aside and I'll take a
No.
that.
You can't do that because that's the same thing that has to do with the SAVE Act. They can't pass it as long as the filibuster is in place. It takes 60 votes, period.
No, but what I'm saying, Charlie, is they can change the rules. They can get rid
Yes,
of the filibuster.
absolutely they can.
And
They just
and
won't.
That is my
Now,
frustration.
and that's exactly what I said to begin with. You know, you're blaming the Democrats, Tim Scott, but you've got 4 or maybe even 5 Republicans that are not going to back this thing.
Exactly. So we give the rhino Republicans who are willing to sell America out.
Yeah.
We give them a pass just so that we can blame the Democrats, and that's just dishonest.
I don't think they're doing it so we can blame the Democrats. I think they're doing it because they truly do not believe in the Save America Act, and they don't want President Trump's agenda to be passed.
Well, I would agree, and based on that, Charlie, I'm not sure that we could actually call them Republicans.
No. That's why they say they're Republicans in name only. They're rhinos, definitely, Harry. I appreciate it. So, Thune is talking about bringing the SAVE Act to the floor of the Senate next week. Now, here's my thinking of what he's going to try to do, okay? He's going to bring the SAVE Act, not going to do away with the filibuster, not going to bring in the standing filibuster. He's going to make no rules changes whatsoever. He's going to come in and he's going to put the Save America Act on the floor of the Senate. Now, here's what's going to happen. Every single Republican in the Senate is going to vote for it. Every single Republican is going to vote for that bill because they know that they've still got to have 60 votes to pass it, and they don't want to look bad. They don't want to, oh, yes, I'm voting for this. It'll never pass. Yeah, I'm going to vote for this. It's no way. This thing is doomed. I'm going to vote for it. Yeah, you watch. Here we go. I'm voting. Look at me voting for it. Here's me voting for it. It's not going to pass. They get a pass. When the bill doesn't pass, they get a pass. Because now they can say, hey, we tried. Oh, we tried so hard to get that bill passed, and I just could not do it. When they were not going to do it all along. Let's go to Orrin in Landrum. Orrin, welcome.
How are you, Charlie?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Well, the thing about, I want to put 2 things. First thing about what Mr. Timmons was talking about yesterday about this slush fund for these people who have had to pay off these accusers.
Yeah.
I'm 100% behind protecting the woman, the accuser. Their identity should not be revealed. But the congressman or the senator who had to pay it, they should be revealed.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, I agree 100%.
and that should be grandfathered all the way back to when this first thing began. Everybody's ever done. I'll tell you what you'll find. You'll find one or two or three people on there 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I'll bet you will. I'll bet you will. Absolutely.
And the other thing about Tim Scott is, yes, I blame the Republicans for this. Say that Thune doesn't want it passed because he doesn't want he wants basically what he wants is one government for everybody.
Yeah.
But Thune, if he's supposed to be a leader, he's supposed to do that. Tim Scott, I felt inside, and I'm a big fan of Tim Scott, but I felt insulted when he said, "Well, it's just the Democrats." That's a cheap, easy way of saying we're not going to pass it. He insulted me when he did that.
They need to start calling out members of their own caucus and getting.
I can name you 2 of them.
Well, all right, go ahead.
I can name you 2 of them.
All right.
Tim Scott and Lindsey and Misty Graham.
So you're saying they're with all the talk and all the appearances, they're not going to vote for the SAVE Act, or they're not going to vote for doing away with the filibuster. That's the big thing.
No,
that's weird because I mean, even we're hearing that John Cornyn is now saying he is willing to go along with whatever rules changes that need to be done in order to pass the SAVE Act. Do you think that's a real thing, or is he just trying to get that endorsement from Trump?
I think he said it, but it's easy for him to say that because he knows it's not going to get to that.
Yeah, maybe so.
So he can say, well, I was prepared. I was going to do it, but gee whiz, we couldn't. John Thune, we couldn't get. So, gee, I did everything I could. He knows it's easy to say that when you know you don't. It's never going to come up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Orrin, I appreciate it, buddy. Let's go to Mike in Table Rock. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing okay.
All right.
The reason I'm calling is I'm okay with the SAVE Act, but like you said, it's not going to. It's going to get hung up. Hopefully, it'll pass. But
well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, those Republicans, and this is all the stuff that we need to remember. I appreciate it, Mike. We need to remember these people. Now, when we talked with Congressman Timmons yesterday, he said something that kind of surprised me. That not only does the House want the SAVE Act passed, but they've also got the SAVE Act 2.0 ready to go if it doesn't pass. So if it fails in the Senate, they're ready to go. They've got the votes. They'll send the next SAVE Act, and this is something they need to keep doing. And if I were Donald Trump, I would stick fast and firm to my decision that there will be no endorsements of either Ken Paxton or John Cornyn until the SAVE Act is signed. Period. Now, like we said, John Cornyn just said, just in an op-ed that he put out there today, that he would be for any rules changes in order to get the SAVE Act passed. Are you buying that? I'm not sure I'm buying that, but there you go. All right. When we get back, we've actually got Never Trump senators here in South Carolina. I know that's going to shock you, but we do. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You've stepped into the Upstate Talk Octagon. A few left jabs and a lot of right uppercuts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Then type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go back to the phones. We'll talk to Mike in Table Rock. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Hopefully it won't cut off this time.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm concerned about is the voter ID part of it, because we need to give people time to get it, and I think we need to make it to where you have to have to the presidential election to get your voter ID.
Why do you? Did you have you had an issue getting an ID? You got some idea that some people don't have ID?
Actually, I did because I had a misspelling of my name, and I had to get my birth certificate.
Okay.
And so it took a little bit of time.
It took a week. Or you could have it today. If you wanted to write down and say, no, I'm not buying that, Mike. Everybody's got ID. Everybody's got ID. There's hardly anybody walking around out there right now that doesn't have ID. So, no, enact it now. Enact it before the midterms. Let's go to Tim in Campobello. How you doing, Tim?
I'm all right. How you?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Well, I got some comments about the war, and then I've got some more comments after it just called. The war thing, everybody keeps saying they don't want boots on the ground, all this and that and the other. I say whoop them as bad as we got to whoop them where they can't never raise their head again. I mean, you don't join the military just to get to wear camouflage and play with nice rifles. That ain't what you're there for. I mean, you're there to whoop folks. And I
think we can do that. Necessary. I think we can do that with bomb planes, drones, and ships.
Well, maybe, but if we can't, we can't. You know what I mean? If push comes to shove, whoop them. While we're in the notion of this, whoop them. Okay, the other thing, these people up there that ain't got cojones to pass this SAVE Act, they every one need to be primaried. And the main one to me is Lindsey Graham. I mean, he just like a boat sitting on a pond. Which way the wind's blowing at the time, that's the way he's going. He's a sorry excuse for a man, in my opinion.
All right. A lot of people feel that way. Okay.
Let me say one more thing.
All right.
If you too dumb to figure out what ID you need to get to vote, you ain't got sense enough to be voting anyhow. That's the way I look at it.
All right, Tim, I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So, yeah, but look, everybody's got ID. Stop that. That's all. You've been listening to too much CNN. You've been listening to too much NPR. You've been listening to too much NBC. If you think there are people out there that don't have ID, it's an easy thing to do. I told you the other day, I said, let me just see. I said, Charlie, to myself, Charlie, let's see how long it would take you to get an official copy of your birth certificate. Remember, nobody has their original. Everybody's got an official copy. So let's see how long that would take. So I went to my home state of Georgia's Vital Records Department. I put in my name. I put in my county of birth. I put in my city of birth, put in my birth date, and I took it all the way up until it was going to ask me to pay. And I didn't need to do that because I've already got my birth certificate. I know exactly where it is. Took it all the way to as far as I could go, and it took about a minute. It would have gone by faster if I were a better typist. It took about a minute. That's it. That's all it takes. And then they will send it to you in the mail. Now, if you need it even quicker, you could get up tomorrow morning. You could drive to, let's say you're in South Carolina. You could get up tomorrow morning. You could drive to Columbia. And you could get it for about $17. You could get it in about 45 minutes after you get there. And you'd be right back on your way. That's just how easy it is to get all of this going on. Let's go to where we're going. Dave in Spartanburg. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, Charlie, I want to talk about. I saw Thune talking about the SAVE Act last night. He said, "Well, we don't have the votes."
Right.
If I'm Trump, I would tell him, "Here's what I'm going to tell you. I want to see the vote because I want to see who doesn't want it. So then you know every one of the people who does not, because there are Republicans that don't want it. He's one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why he doesn't want to bring it up. He's one. Cornyn, Collins, Murkowski. I could almost list them. You got to put them on record, put them on a vote that they didn't want to vote for. See, they know if they vote for it, they're going to have to vote for it because if not, they're going to be voted out. So they don't want to bring it up. Well,
Yeah.
we can't do that. It's a sham, and I don't know how people have to be smart enough to see that.
Yeah.
It's all a shell.
You're right about that. But you know what I like that Trump said, Dave? Trump said it's time. That's what being a leader does. It's your time to be a leader. If you've got people that don't want to, if you can't get the votes, go be a leader. I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you. Let's go to D.C. in Greenville. D.C., how are you?
Fine. I'd like to speak about Iran.
All right.
The first casualty in war is truth, and I don't believe that we will win until we secure and control the borders. And I hope we're there until we win the war, and that we stay there as long as we need to keep it won.
Which borders are you talking about? Our borders, our southern borders, or the borders of Iran?
Right now, I'm talking about the borders of Iran.
Okay.
But we need to figure out while we're taking care of Iran, we need to figure out what we need to do to sustain constitutional liberty into the future of the United States.
Well, that's where President Trump and a lot of other people are hoping the people of Iran are going to step up. Because
the people of Iran don't have the military power or ability to control their borders.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a complicated mess anyway, and I understand your sentiment there, D.C. I appreciate it. Are we going to Slavic? Is that what we're talking about? Slavic in Spartanburg. How you doing, Slavic?
I'm good. How are you, sir? First-time caller.
First-time caller. You get the bell, man. There you go. What's up?
Hey, they're talking about not passing the SAVE Act because they can't get IDs. But when illegals come to America, they give them IDs and driver licenses so they can get jobs and cash their checks.
Yeah.
So if illegals, they can give out illegals IDs and driver licenses. How hard is it for Americans to get ID and voter IDs?
Shouldn't be hard. It's not hard. These people, they're just, you know what they're doing, Slavic? They're just making excuses, ridiculous excuses, so that they can keep pandering to the illegal immigrants in this country. I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. We got to hit a break here. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Giving the left heartburn. Afternoons 3 to 7. Dum. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir, and we are back. Well, today, the Speaker of the House in South Carolina, probably the most powerful man in government here in South Carolina, he made a little video that he put out talking about all of the wins that they had yesterday in the House.
Have this overwhelming vote in support of the budget. Also, after the budget, we did income tax. We concurred with the Senate amendments. So that means income tax is going to get accomplished in South Carolina. It's on the way to the desk of Government Master, and hopefully going to have Government Master sign that in the very near future. So we're going to see immediate relief. We're going to untether ourselves from...
Hey, hold on, let me go back. That wasn't exactly the beginning. Here's the beginning.
Hey everyone, it's 9:30 on Tuesday. We just wrapped up our second day of the budget debate, and it's been a historic day for us here in South Carolina. What's happened today is we adopted a budget, which is a strong budget that protects taxpayers and protects the teachers and core functions of government, and it's something that we're very proud of. I want to give a shout out to the Ways and Means Committee.
A shout out to the Ways and Means Committee. Gilda Cobb Hunter was appointed, she's a Democrat, appointed by that fellow, Merle Smith, to the Ways and Means Committee. I want you to listen to what Gilda Cobb Hunter said about Moms for Liberty.
TA or some Moms for Liberty, please. They are a terrorist group.
Moms for Liberty. That's who Merle Smith. That's who Merle Smith, the same woman that called Charlie Kirk a racist, that's who Merle Smith appointed as the first vice chair of the Ways and Means Committee. Now, was everything that he was saying actually even possible? Because remember, a lot of these people that voted for this, they didn't even read the bill. Representative Micah Caskey was talking with Representative Sarita Edgerton when he said this.
Balance of the House rules, you will find that there is no provision requiring you to actually read anything. And I think that after this short couple weeks you've been with us, you'll find that too often nobody reads anything.
Nobody reads anything. Let's talk with Sarita Edgerton right now. Representative Edgerton, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Charlie, I just want to say I started out my morning with some terrorists at a Moms for Liberty press conference. So thank you, Gilda Cobb Hunter.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, right. Unbelievable. And she's first vice chair. So what Merle Smith was...
Of a subcommittee, not the whole committee.
Yeah, the subcommittee. But she was appointed by Merle Smith. But the question is here, he's talking about all of these great things in the budget. What he's leaving out is this is the largest budget in South Carolina history, right?
That's correct. Increased by $2.1 or $2.2 billion with a B, not an M.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money. Now, how can you give tax breaks and increase the budget at the same time?
You asked a very good question, Charlie. I don't see where you can. I just don't know that it's financially and fiscally responsible to do so. But South Carolina's going to try it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are hearing that this tax plan that they have is actually going to increase taxes on about 20% of South Carolinians.
So, yes, and forgive me, my numbers aren't exactly correct, but it's about 22.6% will see an increase. Approximately 42% point something percent will see no change at all, which is good for them.
Right.
And about, I guess, 30 something that's left, something that's left, will see a decrease. So that's also good for them. But for the 22%, and that estimation, according to the RFA, which is the financial people who do all of this stuff and tell you how much it's going to cost, it's going to hit the middle class making between like 110 and 110,000 a year and 320,000 a year. So that's a lot of my district, including my husband and myself. So we don't know who in that demographic will see an increase, but you hear the line, if there are 44% of the people don't pay income tax.
Right.
It's not targeting them. It's targeting the middle class, where we're already being squeezed.
Yeah.
From top and bottom.
And it took them, it seems like, I mean, here we are on March the 11th. The big, beautiful bill was passed a while back, and we are just now conforming with the big, beautiful bill?
That is correct. So if you've already filed and gotten a tax return, you might want to go back and refile, or go take it to an accountant and have them look at it. Once this gets signed, I'd wait because it's not, still has to go, be signed into law. So, but yes, that's what we've been pushing for. We actually had a conformity bill. This was Stephen Long's bill, and I commend him for his work on getting it through the Ways and Means subcommittee and committee very quickly and onto the House floor so we could actually conform.
So when you walked in, because you made a post the other day about walking in and seeing these budget bricks on everybody's desk, what was the first thing that hit your mind when you saw all of those there at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir. I got there a little early, as I do often, to pray in my office, and we had a press conference as well, the Freedom Caucus did, and I said, oh, my goodness, look at all the bricks. You couldn't even see some of them. Some of them were sitting down on there were actually more than you could see in the picture. Yeah. But I was like, now you can access the budget online, but, are you? If you looked at mine has Post-it notes stuck in it and things written on it. And one of the comms girls from the GOP House Caucus said, whoa, I think you didn't read your budget. I said, no, I read it twice.
Yeah.
So that's how I got a couple of provisos struck out again out of there. They just aren't reading them, and they're assuming that the rest of us aren't, and we're just going to rubber stamp it.
Yeah.
And they don't want any dissent. They just want you to go in there and press the green button. And I did press the green button because you go through it line by line. It's a very long and tedious process where if there's no amendments on that section, you go through all the unamended sections first, and you vote for education, and you vote for police officers, and you vote for all the different things, or you vote against them if you don't like them. And then we go back and start the ones that have amendments put up on them, and there were bunches and bunches of amendments. Yeah,
and just about every one that was put up by the Freedom Caucus was shot down, right?
That is correct.
So, I mean, what I am hearing is that a lot of people there, well, I won't say a lot, but there are people in Columbia that actually side with the Freedom Caucus, but they're just too afraid to align themselves with them.
Well, the same gentleman that you played that video of earlier, and me having that conversation, told me that even if it was the best amendment in the world, he could never vote for it for political reasons. And I said, because it has my name on it. He goes, I think you know exactly what I'm saying. So, yeah, they're told not to vote for any of our amendments, no matter how good or bad they are. I asked the Democrats, where are all your amendments? You put 200 amendments last year on the budget.
Yeah.
And they were told, and I'm not going to say who said this, but this person told me that if you ever want anything in the budget, keep your mouth shut.
It sounds like Columbia is being run by a bunch of bullies.
We'll call it a cartel. It's really no different. It's about 10 people who control everything for the whole entire state of of South Carolina. They don't want any dissent. They don't want light brought into it at all. And somebody said yesterday, I guess I voted with you, I've been brought to the dark side. I said, this ain't the dark side.
Yeah.
This is the light side. We're exposing the darkness. And that's why they don't like it. That's why they come out with all these attack ads. And that's, that's why they do this. But who in their right mind would say we need $2 billion more? So April Cromer said it yesterday on the House floor, and I want to repeat it because it was very, very good, and I'm not taking any credit for this statement. She said, this body, the legislature, the House of Representatives, wants the taxpayer to cut their spending because none of the state agencies can cut theirs.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, the line of the day yesterday.
Absolutely.
They want you to squeeze your wallet, until that, buffalo nickel pops out, squeezes out, but they don't want to cut anything from their budgets at all.
That is truth. And now we are hearing, there's a story over on Fitz News that the state legislature is actually looking at taking more power away from the governor's office by limiting off-session appointments. And
I've heard of it. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Go look that up. It's a fascinating story. So, Representative Sarita Edgerton, always a pleasure to talk to you, ma'am. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Take care. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to D in Thomasy. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great today, Charlie. How are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful. What's on your mind?
Listen, I just want to revisit this topic of the SAVE Act, which I am completely convinced that is the most important legislation that we have pending today. I was talking with a friend earlier, and he's a Trump supporter, but mentioned that it was a great thing, how great a thing it was that Thune has come around to bring the SAVE Act before for a vote, as if he'd changed his position. I said, look, this is smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I said, unless there's a rule change, a filibuster rule change, then it has no possibility of passing. And I agree with you, what you said earlier before the top of the hour, that if it goes before a vote without this rules change, then it's guaranteed to fail. And like you said, likely 100% of the Republicans will vote for it.
Yeah. Because they know it's going to fail.
Well, exactly. And if it fails without the rules change, the filibuster change, then that will just allow them to kick the can down the road and bury it for ever how long.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right, D. Well, hopefully we can get something done. I appreciate it, buddy. So if you go to a prize fight, you go to a boxing match, haven't been to a boxing match in a long time. But when you go to a boxing match, you got a couple of people in the auditorium. You got the referee over here. We're not talking about him. But you've got the combatants and you've got the spectators. Now, what we're seeing in Congress, a lot of these members, they're just spectators. Lindsey Graham, spectator. Tim Scott, except for a little strange comment today, spectator. They're not really in the fight, right? There are some people that are in the fight. And one of those people is Representative Anna Paulina Luna. She has a plan, and oh my gosh, I think this is fantastic. Every time the FISA bill, that's the bill that allows the government to spy on you. Every time the FISA bill has to be revoted on, man, the Democrats, the Republicans, Lindsey Graham, all these people that get out there and say, we got to pass this. We got to pass the FISA bill. We have to do it. This is a must-pass piece of legislation. We have got to get it done. Want you to listen to what Representative Anna Paulina Luna is suggesting. I think it's pretty darn smart.
This is really 100% on Leader Thune. I know for a fact the American people have told their senators what they want, both the Democrats and Republicans. I think the number for Democrats is over 71%. Even Fetterman came out in support of this, which we know that Fetterman might not align with us all the time, but on this issue, he's pretty good and here's what his own people want. And so, again, this is something that the Senate is going to have to act on. But look, I'm not going to hold my breath. If I did, I'd probably pass out before the Senate decided to actually do something. And so what I'm anticipating is if they don't do the right thing, we're going to have to stick it on FISA. FISA's must pass. That's the only way we're going to get it done, but we will get it done. And it's good that Speaker Johnson is on the same page on this issue, as well as the president so vocally supporting it.
So you take a must pass, and this, you got to admit, this is what fighters do. Fighters find ways to win. Man, I saw a video last night. Oh, it was so good. It was one of those like motivational videos. And it was just talking about you got to find a way to win. No matter what it takes, no matter how hard you have to work, no matter how much you got to sacrifice, you have got to find a way to win. So over here, you got John Thune making excuses And then in this corner, you've got Anna Paulina Luna, who is looking for ways to win. So you take the SAVE Act, you attach it to the FISA bill, send it off to the Senate. Oh, y'all want to keep spying on American citizens through the FISA courts? Oh, is that what you want to do? Well, you also are going to have voter ID. I think it's great. Losers find excuses. Winners find ways to win. That's the difference between people like John Thune and Anna Paulina Luna. Pretty amazing. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Act on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Today I got an email from a certain organization that claims to be for prosperity. And they were singing the praises of the passing of H4216, also known forevermore as the blue-collar tax hike here in South Carolina. And I'll be honest with you, I know some of those people that work for this organization of Americans who claim to be for prosperity, and they are going to be falling in that category where they're going to actually be getting a tax hike. Let's bring in former Representative Adam Morgan on this. Adam, welcome to the program, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Charlie, good to be with you.
So, I mean, here we go, 4216. Merle Smith put out that silly little video today talking about what a wonderful thing this was. Kind of left out who was going to be getting a tax increase, didn't he?
Yeah, it's so funny. Columbia's math and Columbia's ideas of like conservative policies, they never cease to amaze. I mean, you can almost predict when they say tax cut, it means, well, yeah, there's a few people that get a tax cut, but actually over 50% of taxpayers in South Carolina will get either no cut or their taxes will go up.
Yeah.
23% of people will actually have a tax increase, and it's only a portion that will actually have the tax cut. And all of this is an effort to move to a flat tax rather than a progressive tax, which, I mean, that sounds okay, but what business do we have raising anyone's taxes in South Carolina when we have a massive surplus, and when, if you watched any bit of the debate during the budget this week, you saw that we are spending hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on the dumbest things that you can imagine, even drag queen shows and a lesbian podcast. Did you see that one?
Lesbian. So last year they spent $900,000 on a podcast to start a podcast for the South Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. I offered to do it for $500,000. I don't know why they turned me down.
How generous!
But yeah, and now we're going to be paying for a lesbian podcast. I mean,
no, Charlie. We already paid for the lesbian podcast. They are just going to renew the season.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's. Well, I don't. Why? What?
You honestly, the answer is because the Speaker of the House was elected by a coalition of every Democrat and the moderate Republicans. The conservatives, I think 18, all the members of the Freedom Caucus voted against him. He got in there, and what did he do? He appointed Democrats to Ways and Means.
Yeah.
He made the chair of the committee that put all of that in the budget. He's head of Arts Commission. He's head of the Commerce Department with all the corporate welfare. He's even head of the Sea Grants Consortium, which most of the funding was going to climate change research.
Yeah.
It's in this budget, right?
Of course,
here.
we're talking about
That
Leon
is headed-
Stavronakis.
Yeah, one of the most radical liberals in chamber, and he is appointed to one of the most powerful positions on the budget committee, let alone Beth Bernstein over there running family laws in South Carolina. I mean, that's why. The reason is we have, unfortunately, a true uniparty that is run by establishment Republicans or rhinos, whatever you want to call them, and Democrats. And, the conservatives, thankfully, are emboldened and they're fighting and they're bringing it to people's attention. But, I mean, just the fact that last year, if you are somebody listening right now and your representative voted for this budget and voted for last year's budget, I'm talking about the guys in Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson. Forget the rest of the state. I get it. A lot of those people are clueless. But right here in the upstate, we have an informed citizenry. If your representative voted for those two budgets, call them and make them explain to you why they are letting them fund lesbian podcasts with your tax dollars. And by the way, they knew this when they voted for this funding. They voted for a state DEI agency. They voted for more tax subsidies. They voted for a massive amount of tuition mitigation, which is basically just inflating the cost of college. I mean, it's insane that Republicans are doing this junk. And the only way to stop it is to vote these guys out. And there are no innocent, oh, there's middle guys that really are pro-Freedom Caucus. But no, just look at the voting record.
Yeah.
If they're voting for the budget, if they're voting against, I mean, you know what they did yesterday? They voted down continuing the child tax exemption credit for South Carolina. The Republicans did that. And so, I mean, there's just no excuse for that. Yeah, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior. So you've got to vote. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Some of you need to run for office because the filing deadlines are what, in a week or two?
Right.
It opens. And some of you need to look at your rep. And if you're in Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, wherever, Lawrence, if your rep is voting with the establishment, they are voting for a Democrat, basically a Democrat speaker, and for all these liberal priorities, actually go and file and run for office, or support financially and with your time somebody who's actually fighting. That's the only way we get our state back. Because if we don't stop this, we're going to be the next Virginia, a Republican state that just drifts more and more. And then one day they wake up and the majority's gone, and we just don't know how it happened. And well, it's because we funded lesbian podcasts and Hollywood tax subsidies to bring Hollywood here to South Carolina, the fastest growing state this year.
So there was a thing called the Minority Affairs Commission, and that was just pure DEI.
Yeah.
And they came along.
They renamed, Charlie.
They came along and they rebranded it. It's the same formula. It's just another label. Now it's called the Commission for Community Advancement and Engagement, but the policies are all the same, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a nationwide plan right now. All of these companies and state departments, the public outcry over DEI, because it's discriminatory and racist, and people don't want their money going for that. And even there's court cases now that are saying they can't do some of these policies.
Right.
So it's a nationwide push to rebrand. And, I mean, you can literally just Google what are the rebranding names for DEI. It literally tells you that community engagement is one of the ones that everyone's using.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same personnel. It's the same goals that they have. They're just changing the name. And by the way, once again, go check out the Freedom Caucus social media account. They put the list of who voted for it. A good chunk of your Republican legislators, other than the Freedom Caucus and a few in the Family Caucus, voted to fully fund a state DEI agency.
Yep, you're exactly right.
Vote.
Yeah, and that's the reason they don't want you guys posting that vote board up there, because I don't know if you've tried to look up a vote on the South Carolina legislature website. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's difficult. And so putting the voting board and telling people what it is and putting the link to where you can go read it, that is just anathema there. They want to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why they instituted the rules that you couldn't do that. But so that just tells you the most effective thing you can do is take pictures of it and let the public know.
Exactly.
I mean, and by the way, I don't know if you've seen the Gilda Cobb Hunter clip that's going viral where she called Moms for Liberty terrorists. And then she said Charlie Kirk had no honor and hated black people and all this kind of junk. She is once again appointed to the budget committee. There's not a single Freedom Caucus member, true conservative, in the House that is on the budget committee. But yet Gilda Cobb Hunter is on the one that oversees higher ed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
It really is insane.
Our Republican speaker did that. And by the way, anyone who voted for him, such as a lot of your representatives here in the upstate, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. So the last non-presidential primary that we had 13.5% voter turnout. If we get that this time, I don't think anything changes, Adam.
Yeah, one can. Yeah, actually, you know what, Charlie? I know what you mean, but I lived this. When I went in chamber, I think there were 5 conservatives. There were 5 people who were voting no, and it wasn't very organized either. It was just kind of sporadic, and very few people amended the budget. Very few people shared vote. It just wasn't done. I mean, Jonathan Hill was kind of a lone voice. You had Mike Burns. A few. But then every election cycle, it's like the louder we got and the more organized we got, the more people. It was at 7, then it was 13. Now there's 18 strong in the legislature. Yeah, I mean, they're catching up to the Democrat caucus. So what we need to do is, Spartanburg's got to take out the trash. Anderson's got to flush some, really bad elected officials. Greenville, we have a few right here in our backyard who need to be upgraded to Freedom Caucus members.
I agree.
So if your member is not one, it's probably time to make a change.
Absolutely. You're 100% right about that. Former Representative Adam Morgan, thank you so much for joining us, sir. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me on, Charlie.
Yes, sir. Take care. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I was shocked when I heard this. I really was. I was downright flabbergasted. Did you know that we have not had a new refinery built, an oil refinery built in the United States in 50 years? 50 years. Yeah, JJ's right. We outsourced it. We've not had and by the way, we've actually lost refineries here in this country. California, they used to be refinery rich until all of the environmental regulations and all that BS came in. Now they're down to, I think they used to have 40. I think now they're just down to 8. So President Trump has announced that the U.S. will have its first oil refinery in 50 years built in Brownsville, Texas. He said, America is returning to real energy dominance. Today, I'm proud to announce that America First Refining is open. I love that. America First Refining. That's a great name for a business. America First Refining is opening the first new oil refinery in 50 years in Brownsville, Texas. This is historic, $300 billion deal. It's the biggest in U.S. history, a massive win for American workers, energy, and the great people of South Texas. Thank you to our partners in India and their large privately held energy company, Reliance, for this tremendous investment. And it is because of our America First agenda, streamlining permits, and lowering taxes that have attracted billions of dollars in deals coming back to our nation. A new refinery at the Port of Brownsville will fuel the U.S. market, strengthen our national security, boost American energy production, deliver billions of dollars in economic impact, and will be the cleanest refinery in the world. It will power global exports and bring thousands of long overdue jobs and growth to a region that deserves it. This is what American energy dominance look like. America first, always. First refinery in 50 years. That's, with all of our dependence on oil, I would have thought that refineries would have been sort of a priority. Well, we know they weren't under Bush. Well, we know they weren't under Clinton. We know they weren't under Bush. We know they weren't under Obama. Energy was a big factor under the first Trump administration. Joe Biden actually wanted to do away with the oil industry. That was one of his campaign promises. We're going to do away with big oil. We're going to shut down all of these factories. We're going to put these guys out of business. That was Joe Biden. That was no secret. Joe Biden went out there and said that. And now under Donald Trump, we're getting the first new oil refinery in 50 years? Good grief. I am absolutely flabbergasted that even happened. But there you go. Good for him. Good for him. We are hearing that the unconfirmed reports here, ladies and gentlemen, that there's going to be some very loud noises coming out of Iran. Apparently, we found out that Iran was producing 200 ballistic missiles per month. Unconfirmed reports of a Moab. Do you know what a Moab is? It is the mother of all bombs. It is the largest non-nuclear bomb that we have in our arsenal. Reports say U.S. drops massive ordnance on Iran underground missile site. Local reports from Iranian journalists claim that the U.S. Air Force struck an underground missile storage facility in Quds, central Iran, using the GBU-43B, the mother of all bombs, the military's most powerful non-nuclear weapon. Video circulating online shows a huge surface explosion and rising mushroom cloud near the urban areas, consistent with a very large air blast munition. The claim remains unconfirmed by official U.S. sources. The Moab is not designed for deep underground penetration Experts note that the bunker busting targets typically require specialized weapons like the GBU-57. But here's what the Moab will do. It'll move a lot of earth. It moves a lot of earth. No, it is not a bunker buster. But if you drop a Moab and then follow it up with a bunker buster, that's a Mike Tyson left hook, right uppercut combination that can't be beat. So I hope so. The Moab, could you imagine the sound that thing makes when it goes off? Good gracious. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, can you believe that our hospice system here in this country is full of fraud? I know, hard to believe, right? But it is. And Senate Republicans are actually lying to you. We'll tell you all about that. And Abby Phillips, speaking of lying, Abby Phillips told what could be the biggest lie ever on broadcast television over on CNN. It's a doozy, too. We'll have that for you coming up. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
A native Georgia bulldog who bites back at big government. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to John in Marietta. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm not a first-time caller, but can I still get the bell?
I'll give you the bell. You want the bell? You want the bell? You get the bell, John. Yes, absolutely. What's up?
Hey, so have you ever been to Los Angeles?
No, I've not.
Okay, well, there's a place called La Brea,
Yeah.
right? You heard the La Brea tar pit?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Is it oil? What is it? I have no
oil.
idea.
It's bubbling up. In La Brea, it bubbles up through the sidewalks. They have to clean the oil up off of the sidewalks. So all they need to do is drill, baby, drill, and they could make money, but they won't do it. But there literally is oil bubbling up through the ground, and they won't do anything. It literally is like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
It bubbles up out of the ground, and they won't do anything with it. It is the dangest thing you will ever see in your life.
Well, that's because they found some dinosaur bones in it.
Well, I don't. Okay, good.
I know, right? I'm kind of the same way. Okay, big deal, but
Well, grind them up and make a gallon of gas out of it.
you're exactly right. I agree, John. You deserve that bell today. I appreciate it, buddy. But I'm looking at all of these refineries, and good. I thought we got the closest one to us is actually I had no idea. It is down in. I know y'all don't know anything about Pooler, Georgia, but it's kind of near Pooler. Kind of if you go down past Hilton Head, past Defusky, kind of east of Tybee Island, there's actually it's called the Coastal Refining Corporation. They've got one there. Where's another one? That's the closest one to us. Actually, we've got, what is this? Oh, never mind. That's something else. Let's see. Got one down in Clearwater, Florida. Then you go over to Louisiana. Or is that? Yeah, Louisiana. Then you get into to the Texas area. You got some over there. Looking out on the West Coast, we've got, just got a couple. It's got you would think the West Coast, well, of course the West Coast. They're not going to be doing refining, right? They got to have all their greeny-weeny ideologies going on there. So, anyway, there you go. All right, well, you just heard, top of the hour, with Stacey Bartrow about the medical fraud accusations that were levied on a business up here in the upstate. Anytime you have a federal program, this is the weirdest thing, but it's not. It's not weird. It's weird, but it's not. Every federal program is rife with fraud. Every single one of them. I don't care what it is. Somebody is out there trying to game the system. We saw that in Minnesota. We saw that with the Somali community, with their autism fraud and their home health care fraud and their learning center fraud. We got fraud up in North Carolina. Now we got fraud here in South Carolina. I was shocked when I found out. Listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. 30% of all of the hospice and home health care companies in the United States, 30% of them are in L.A. County. 30%. So they were like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. Let's kind of find out what's going on here. And a lot is going on. 18% of the entire country's home health care billing is coming out of Los Angeles. One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. Los Angeles County has over 2,000 hospice agencies. That's more than 36 states combined. And now, finally, it is so big that the mainstream media, they're having to pay attention to it.
69-year-old Dr. Lynn Ianni was, according to Medicare records, dying in hospice care 2 years ago. Something she discovered when she sought physical therapy for a pickleball injury.
And I said, what? What are you talking about?
Ianni's Medicare number had been stolen and used by a company to enroll her in hospice care, which she obviously didn't need.
And just to think you're literally without coverage because of some ridiculous, fraudulent thing.
A CBS News investigation found an industry ripe for fraud, especially in California. Companies accused of overbilling, real patients denied care, and it's costing hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. When we called the hospice that fraudulently enrolled Ianni, no one answered.
Cannot accept any messages at this time.
CBS News analyzed every hospice licensed in LA County, more than 1,700, and checked for the same warning signs the state used in an audit of the industry, like multiple hospices packed into one building, or caregivers whose patients, supposedly at death's door, are discharged alive.
You can't throw a rock without hitting a hospice.
We brought our...
Yeah, and she's absolutely right. One building in Los Angeles, one building had 67 hospice agencies in it. 67. But I'm going to tell you, the bigger the organization, the easier they are to defraud. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. In fact, wasn't it Lawrence County where they got defrauded here recently? I think it was. Yeah, Lawrence County is suing. They filed a lawsuit claiming that it was scammed out of more than $1 million by cyber criminals who pretended to be their contractor, Mashburn Construction Company. The lawsuit claims that the county was tricked into sending money through a new bank account set up by the criminals. Holy cow. And they tell us not to give out any information, right? Don't give out any personal information online. So, hey, yeah, this is Mashburn. How you doing? Yeah, we got a new bank account. If you wouldn't mind, just kind of pay us with that bank account. Okie dokie. I'm pretty sure it was a little more involved than that, but fraud is everywhere. The lawsuit states that the county was tricked into sending money through a new bank account set up by the criminals. The county is seeking to recover the lost funds and has requested that the court freeze the fraudulent bank account, among other actions. I bet they did. I'll bet they did. When we get back, well, let's go to Justin in Silva and talk to him. Justin, welcome. And by the way,
hello.
I got it right this time.
Yes, you did.
I got it right this time.
What I actually, all that fraud sounds pretty awful, to that there's that much fraud going on. But
yeah.
What I actually wanted to talk about is, I don't know why more people on the right aren't talking about electric cars nowadays, because they've, in the past 10, 15 years, electric cars have gotten, so improved, and yet we're still clinging to oil and gas, even under Donald Trump, very oil and gas friendly president. Bombs drop on the other side of the world and prices jump, 50 cents a gallon. We'd be way better off as far as energy security is concerned if we embraced more electricity, because we can produce basically 100% of our need domestically without needing to import so much from
But here's the thing.
Other countries over the seas.
Here's the thing about that.
May be hostile.
We don't have the electric grid to handle that. We just don't have the electric end. I mean, hell, we can hardly keep up with the amount of people that are moving here to Greenville to meet their electricity demands. Yeah. And then we've got the data centers and all of that. I'm telling you what, that needs to be a big thing that needs to be improved in this country is handling our electric grid, because it's in bad shape. Justin, I appreciate it. Got to hit a break here. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tough on issues, sharp with facts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's hit the phone lines and talk to Jay. No, we'll talk to Reed in Greenville. Reed, welcome.
Hey, all good here.
All right.
I just wanted to make a comment about electric cars. I mean, yeah, it'd be great. I'd love to have an electric car, but, you know, they cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you have to have enough stuff at your house to charge the dang things. And I looked at this years ago, so it's probably not correct today. But years ago, I looked at just automobiles. And I said, okay, here's how many cars they say we've got. Here's what an average mileage was at the time. And so here's how many, how much gasoline we're using. Here's how much energy that is, and how much would it take in solar power? I think it was solar that I used to come up with that much energy, and we would have had to cover up. I believe it was more than the area of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park completely.
Yeah.
With solar panels in order to meet just the automobiles' usage of fuel. Just automobiles. That's no transfer trucks, no ships, no planes, no nothing. And so, yeah, I mean, it would be great if we could, you know, all drive around with electric cars. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, today, I know this for a fact because I have family that works in utilities. Today, we are seeing orange and red grid situations.
Yeah.
And companies are going, don't touch anything at the plant because we can't afford to lose any power. That was never the case when I worked for the power industry at a power plant 25 years ago.
Right.
That never happened.
Yeah.
Now it happens all the damn time.
Yep, and with more and more of these data centers going up, it's going to be an even bigger problem. I appreciate it, Reed. Now we'll go to Jay in Lawrence. Jay, welcome.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, bud.
Hey. I got a comment too about the electric cars, and I'm going to put it out there as the United States American. All right. One, it's two comments about it. One is, who the hell can afford it?
And they're
Honestly,
expensive.
I mean, in South Carolina with all these monopolized power companies, you get one of those electric cars. Let's see, maybe your electric bill's going to be $1,000 a month. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I'm old school. I want something that's going to put 400-something horsepower down the road and tear it up and make noise.
There you go.
I'm American, man.
That's
right. I'm not one of these foreigners. I'm American. I want to blow up the roads, you know?
You're one of those 4-barrel V8 guys. I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you. Somebody sent a text in, and that's when it hit me because we've been sitting here talking about the price of gas. How many times have you had to fill up? This war's been going on for 11 days. How many times have you had to fill up in the past 11 days? Now, I'm not talking about you truck drivers out there. I know that's a different story. Not delivery drivers or anything like that. Just you and your commuter vehicle. I mean, you fill up once a week, JJ? Do you really? So you filled up 1.5 times since the war started. Yeah. So somebody said, look, it's only cost me an extra $10. Let's go to Chris in Greenville. Chris, welcome.
Hey, John. Good afternoon.
Charlie, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Charlie. Same thing. On the tail end of the electric car thing, I don't know. You probably keep up with everything. Tesla does not want you to own an electric car anymore. They want to rent it to you. And what does that sound like to you? Own nothing
and be happy. That's right. Yeah. Well, that's it. Because I mean, then they can just take it back and lease it again. You're right. But that was that. I don't even know anybody that leases a car anymore. Do you?
No, absolutely not. Why would you? I mean, when you can get a good used car for $5,000 to $10,000 easy and lasts for a long time. And now I'm really into right to repair. I don't know how much you know about it.
Yeah.
But it's huge. So all the car companies, they want to capture your data from you so they can sell it on the black market. And if they get caught, what happens? They get a little slap on the wrist, 0.001% of the amount that they've stolen. And they want to make sure that you bring it to the dealership. A Tesla, where do you got to go with it? If you want to get your tire changed, I was actually working at a tire company the other day, a big national chain, and they brought in a Tesla, and he was just like, sorry, can't do that. You have to take it to the dealer.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Hey, I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you. I got to blow through these real quick. Ray is in Clinton. Ray, welcome.
How you do today, Charlie?
Doing good.
I keep seeing these programs talking about the price of gasoline, but they're not really looking at the actual what has to go through a plant that makes gasoline to see where all the money's going. I worked in the petrochemical industry while I was going to college to pay for my tuition, and I learned that there's only about 20 gallons of gasoline in a barrel. You can't get any more out of it.
That I didn't know, Ray, but I know this. A big chunk of that cost of gasoline right now is taxes and fees. Let's go to Gerald in Cowpens. Gerald, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, as the birds start building their nest, I put mothballs under them.
Yeah.
To deter the snakes, and it worked well for me last year. Just food for thought, brother.
I'm gonna look into that. I appreciate it. I do know that the Bluebird Scouts are out right now. Kenneth in Woodruff wants to talk about electric cars. Kenneth, what's up?
Well, they always talk about it's green energy and everything. Well, you also got to understand that cobalt, if you've ever seen where they get cobalt,
The mine.
it is nasty,
Oh, yeah.
nasty. And these people have so much cancer problems.
Yeah.
Their kids are born with deformities. Then the lithium.
And they
The
use
lithium
child
in this
labor.
country, yes. And then lithium in this country, we can't even mine it because it's too nasty.
Yeah.
Because there's no way we can pass OSHA rules.
That's right. That's right.
And then to be able to support all of the energy, we're going to have more nuclear power plants. And that's something that they don't like. So actuality, and when you take them to the dump, you can't recycle it. So it just goes more and more into the dump. So in actuality, they're not very green.
No, they are not at all. They're anything but. I appreciate it, Kenneth. When we get back, Abby Phillips told the biggest, fattest lie on CNN. You're not going to believe it. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to David in Greenville. David, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, bud. What's up?
So I heard you talk about fraud a while ago, and one thing I get, at least every day, I get about 50 spam calls.
Oh, me too. Yes, you're right.
And I'm on the do not call registry.
Yep.
And they ignore that.
Right.
I have contacted Ralph Norman, Lindsey Graham, the FCC. Nobody seems to do anything about it.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I was even told to change my phone number.
Yeah, it's up to you to change your phone number. That it is who are the what is the organization? Who do they say they're from?
I would say 80% say they're Medicare or Medicaid.
Okay.
Probably 10% are saying that they calling about a car accident that I had that I haven't received compensation from.
Right.
And the rest are just miscellaneous.
Yeah, it's amazing. I get those too, David. I wish we could do something about it. I bet, since I've been here on the show since 3 o'clock, let me just double check. Let me hit my old voicemail here. You're not going to be able to hear this, but here we go. I've got 6. Now, I emptied all of this out last night. I have 6, and I'll guarantee you they're all the same thing. Hi, this is Julie Taylor from the tax, blah, 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 blah. And they're trying to make me think that I am delinquent on my taxes. And I'm not certain about a whole lot of things in life. But I know one thing for certain. I am not delinquent on my taxes. No. That is just outside the realm of possibility right now. So yeah, it's a big problem. Well, we all know that CNN is just a bunch of liars, just a hideous, horrible bunch of liars. They even tried to paint the 2 people that were arrested in the terror attempt, and that's exactly what it was. It was a terror attempt in New York. Both of them have admitted that they were, oh no, they're completely unrelated. They don't even know each other. Yeah, why did both of them pledge their allegiance to ISIS? But CNN, they come along and they paint this flowery picture. It's really hideous what they've done. Let me see if I can find this real quick because I want to read it to you again. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, here we go. This is from CNN. This is what they posted. 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. Well, that sounds awesome. That sounds flowery. But in less than an hour, their lives would be drastically changed, as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during it. So CNN had to come back and do an explanation of that post. Well, they owe us another explanation. And that's for what Abby Phillips claimed on her program last night. Let's take a listen.
Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to.
Wait a minute. Let's listen to that again.
Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the.
It was not a terror attack against Zohran Mamdani. The only thing that he had to do with it was the fact that it happened outside Gracie Mansion in New York City. The attack was against anti-Islam protesters, a.k.a. Christians, protesting things like happened right there. So now all these people are just, oh, Abby Phillips, you got to go. You got to go. Pretty unbelievable.
2 Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's mayor, Zoran Mamdani.
So she issued a retraction. She said, I want to correct something I said last night. The bombs thrown in New York City over the weekend by ISIS-inspired attackers was thrown into a crowd of anti-Muslim protesters and not specifically targeted at Mayor Mamdani. It wasn't targeted a bit. That wording was inaccurate, and I didn't catch it ahead of time. I apologize for the error. No, you know what we want, Abby Phillips? We want an on-air apology. We don't want something that's hidden over on Twitter or X. We want an on-air apology. But if you think that's bad, well, this is pretty darn bad, too. I want you to listen to this. Here she is. She's talking with the New York Post, Linda Moynihan. Listen to what Abby Phillips said.
Is there a line anywhere right now on Capitol Hill or elsewhere in the Republican movement when it comes to anti-Muslim?
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with? What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims? They were done by Muslims. One guy wearing a Property of Islam hoodie with an Iranian flag T-shirt underneath. And then you've got these 2 guys pledging their allegiance to ISIS. It's got everything to do with Muslims. Everything. What's that got to do with Muslims? But did you hear what she said? It was like, and? Yeah, we've had 2 terror attacks in New York City. And then what? What's the bad part? Get to it. What's that got to do with Muslims? Anytime a white person does anything, what do they always go to? Oh, obviously, a white supremacist, right? Always. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hitting truth bombs longer than he drives off the tee. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to Patrick in Pickens and talk to him. Patrick, welcome.
Yes, sir. How are you, Charlie?
I'm great. What's going on with you?
Hey, I just wanted I caught the tail end of you guys talking about the electric cars.
Yeah.
And I don't know, something about the power companies or something in these, I guess, the computers or whatever. It's all AI. It has to do with AI, right?
It's got to do with the fact that we just don't have the power grid to power a whole lot of electric vehicles in this country right now.
Right. So I don't know if you ever, if anybody's ever called in or you talked about it, but so me living in Pickens, I've got Blue Ridge Cooperative, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of split. You got Duke Energy, you got Blue Ridge, which you get it from Duke. Blue Ridge buys it from Duke. So they started a thing after Helene, the peak time hours. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So in the springtime, they do it's 3 in the afternoon to 6 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
You can't use any, like if you use like a dryer or anything that pulls a lot of power, I think it's like $13 a kilowatt is what you get charged. It don't matter if it's on for a second or what.
Wow.
And the same way in the fall, right, or the fall or summer, the fall, it goes from 6 in the morning to 9. Well, they've got it figured out because most people in the mornings at 6 o'clock, they're getting up, getting ready to go to work. Some people wash clothes. Same way they're getting their kids ready.
Yeah.
Same way coming in, right? People
Yeah.
coming in from work at 3, 4 o'clock. So my thing is, how is that even legal?
That's a good question. That peak hour pricing is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, my whole thought was, and I asked the lady, I said, so are y'all doing this to recoup money from Helene? Because, they lost millions of dollars during Helene.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, no, we already had this. This is already in the works or whatever, which I don't know, but it just seems we've never had to do this before, but I know there's more demand for power, right?
Yeah, with everybody moving here, yeah.
So I guess
absolutely.
I don't know, man.
So I know it's it's hard. It's crazy because when you're doing things, just living life. I appreciate it, Patrick. Just living life, and then all of a sudden they're charging you more for living your life. This is what gets me. They're like, oh, well, we need to raise our rates. Here we are at the electric company. We need to raise our rates because we've got this solar farm project that we're working on. Well, take it out of your own profits. How about quit passing all that crap along to us? How about you guys tell your shareholders, yeah, your dividends might not be as good this quarter because we're trying to be responsible to the consumer. Boy, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. In the grand scheme of things, you are last. You are last in Washington. You are last in Columbia. You're last in whatever your county council is. You are last. The only list you're on the top of with a lot of these people is the list of people to get money from. Let's go to Eric in Greer. Eric, welcome.
I just wanted to touch on that point because I worked for Blue Ridge Electric, and they told me that they modeled this to see how the customers would react. And, of course, nobody likes it. But they are doing it because Blue Ridge Electric told me that to prevent rolling brownouts and blackouts. And in some ways it is good because we live in the land of fat where we use electricity without even thinking about it. So what Blue Ridge Electric is trying to do is to get people to be conscious of how they use electricity, which I'm on Duke. I don't have that situation, but I do meet with a lot of people who are on Blue Ridge, and nobody likes it, but I have to admit, it's just like when gas prices go way up, you really start thinking about taking your trips when it makes sense and doubling trips together. So.
But here's what I don't like, Eric, because that makes this a social experiment to modify our behavior.
Yeah, but what what they told me too is the fact that we're so far behind on the infrastructure that they can't keep up. And even as the last gentleman stated, that there's so many people moving here and they can't build the infrastructure fast enough or update it or upgrade it. And so even like what you're saying with the other gentleman about the electric cars, we don't have, and Blue Ridge Electric they'll charge you if you have solar. So they told me straight out that they don't make money on people with solar, so they charge what they refer to as a connection fee. So any of the people who have Blue Ridge Electric and have solar panels, they're paying a $70 a month connection fee because they're not making the same amount of money.
But here's all right. So let's talk about that connection fee, $70 a month. Isn't that your job to connect people to electricity?
Exactly. It's just like all the other erroneous service fees that exist.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Eric. Thank you. My neighbors and I were talking about our water bill. I guess it was about a month ago. And on the water bill, there was a thing called a distribution fee. And I'm like, wait a minute. They're charging me to distribute the water that I'm paying for when I use it? I thought that's what you did. Oh, my goodness. Nickel and dime us to death. Where are we going? To 4? Let's go to Brad in Salem and talk about Blue Ridge. How you doing, Brad?
It's easy for you.
I know, right?
I'm going to have to be on the other side of this. I love it, what they've done.
Okay.
It makes you aware. It makes you conscious. My electric bill, where it would have been, say, $200, it's typically about $150 now. So
let me ask you something, Brad. Just out of curiosity, how big of a house do you have?
It's 2,000 square feet.
Okay. And your average electric bill is $160?
Now it is.
Yeah. What was it?
It was $200. It was and when I had the house built,
yeah,
I had 2x6 walls put in with extra insulation and in the attic and everything. So the house, even one of the HVAC guys, when he came in to size the thing, he said you could heat this place with a candle.
Yeah.
And but on what I've done is I don't have one of these super smart thermostats. It's a real basic that you can set some times on.
Right.
So, for instance, in the summer, when it's 3 to 6 is the peak period, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to get people to distribute and think about their usage, because everybody comes home and turns their air on and hits them at the same time. So about an hour before that, I've got it set to drive the temperature down as low as I can, so that at the time of the peak, then I tell it, okay, now quit running it.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
And for those 3 hours, the air doesn't run.
Yeah. Okay.
And that right there, they have also, in conjunction with this, they've reduced the kilowatt hour rate, and they charge you a kilowatt rate in the peak period, which is why it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And when you look at all of that, and you do I even had my old bills and everything, and I looked back and I said, yeah, this has just been remarkable with me just thinking a little bit.
Okay, Brad, I got to leave it there. We got to hit a break here. I appreciate it. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Honest views, trusted news. This is the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, right.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the phones and talk to Bonnie in Greer. How you doing, Bonnie?
I'm doing good. I was thinking about the stress on the power grid right after I read this thing about they want to build a huge complex by Fall Rivers.
Yeah.
Of
Yes.
condos, and I'm thinking they're going to choke Greenville to death.
Yeah,
But then nobody's going to be able to get around to do anything.
that's right.
And didn't they pass a thing of no restrictions on building?
Yeah, they're downtown. They're trying to make it like Charlotte or even Atlanta eventually. They
Oh,
want it.
That's good.
Yeah, no, right. That just always seems to work out. But that's what you get when you have a city council like that. I appreciate it, Bonnie. Bob is in Piedmont. Bob, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. Thank you
bud.
for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
And before I forget, I want to tweet or congratulate you on your birthday.
Oh, well, that was back in February, but I apprete that. Thank you. I had a great
I know.
time.
Well,
Thank
hey,
you.
I was listening back then.
I appreciate it, Bob.
I just wanted you went ahead and struck a nerve when you were talking about the spam phone calls.
Yeah.
I didn't hear how many calls that you had since you've been on.
6.
But I've had 15.
Have you had 15?
I've had 15 from 3 o'clock, and I had 12 from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So
Golly.
that's 27 since 2 o'clock.
Do you remember when they used to throw people in jail for spam over the internet? Why aren't they going
remember
after
that.
these people?
But they don't even, there's no longer a do not call list.
Right. Yeah, I believe that fully.
I get the same calls over and over and over again.
Yeah, I feel your pain, man. It is so annoying. I appreciate it. Let's go to Brian in Spartanburg. Brian, how are you?
Hey, so going back to a previous caller that was talking about his air conditioning, he has the availability to stay home and just turn it way down and get his house cold.
Yeah.
And then turn it off at peak times. If you have a Honeywell thermostat and you use scheduling, they have a thing called adaptive technology. And I had to call Honeywell about it at one time. And if you use that, it will turn your unit on at different times.
Right. Yeah.
So if it's a really hot day, it's gonna turn. So if you get home from work at 5 and you want it to drop 5 degrees by 5, well, on a 70-degree day, it's gonna turn it on at 4. On a 90-degree day, it's gonna turn it on at 2. So you're really screwing yourself with that. The best thing to do is just keep the temperature the same all the time.
Yeah.
You're not saving any money. You're using more power by trying to drop it to 3 to 5 degrees that you have in the schedule
Yeah.
than you are just keeping it the exact same.
And now that we've got summer coming up, I mean, people need to be reminded that you are never going to get that house more than 20 degrees below outside temperature.
You can if it's built right.
If it's built right, yeah. But I mean, my goodness, how many of those? I mean, I live in a what?
More
I think
than you think.
I think our neighborhood is about 20, 22 years old now. None of those houses are acting like that. So I wish I did. You know what? I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brian. I was going to tell you how much my electric bill was. But after all of these people that have been texting me how much they pay in electricity every month over on the text line, I'm not going to tell you. Because I believe you would hate me. I really do. I mean, I'm seeing 3 JJ's electric bill. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That's how much you're paying over at Duke Energy? That's unbelievable. That is crazy. I'm on Lawrence Electric. Man, I write that check. I'm like, yep, you got it, Lawrence. Here you go. There you go. I'm happy to pay that. There you go. Two things, two checks I do not mind writing, especially moving up here from Charleston. Number one, I don't mind writing my mortgage payment. Light bill, it was up there, JJ. It was up there. It was. I mean, all right, I'll tell you. Last month it was $90. $90. Now I know it's just me and Sheila, but still. Let's go to Scott in Greenville. Scott, welcome.
All right, Charlie. I've heard a couple of callers and possibly you opining as to why the junk calls we can't stop the junk calls.
Yeah.
The answer is pretty simple. If the legislators were to pass any kind of legislation that says you can't do that, they can't do it. Remember what happens during election season?
That's right.
I have to unsubscribe from something I did not subscribe to.
Yeah. Yep. And they have exempted themselves from what is it? From the no call list.
Yeah.
And nonprofits as well.
They're not going to.
I didn't think about
They're
that.
not going to cut off their own phone calls.
Yeah.
Text messages.
Yeah, you're right about that, Scott. You're right. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. We'll take a quick break and be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Leave your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
There's a woman down in Florida, Sarasota, Florida, to be exact. And she put out a video. Her name is Desiree Dareen Sagari. She's 41 years old, out of Sarasota. She has been found guilty by a federal jury of interstate communication of a threat to injure. Sagari, who was indicted back on September the 18th, faces a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison. I hope she gets every single day of it. In one of the videos she shared on TikTok, Sagari stated, "So if we all get out our guns and use our Second Amendment right, and you see somebody with a MAGA hat, pew pew, that's what we do. That's the way." Here is Desiree Sagari.
See MAGA, pew pew MAGA, see MAGA, pew pew. Okay, guys, so I would like to start a new movement called See MAGA, MAGA, because people like that respond to fear and terror and aggression, not logic and empathy and, I don't know, intelligence. It doesn't work for them.
Okay, so, well, how intelligent was that? And like I keep telling you, they're the most violent among us. I mean, just look what happened up in New York. Look at all of the recent shootings, all the recent violence. How much of that was so-called right wing? Zip. But yet there's still people that are going to get out talking about right-wing violence. Oh, it's all the right wing. What about all this left-wing violence that's going on? The people that are openly advocating to shoot other people just because they disagree with them politically. According to evidence presented at trial, Sagari posted a video on TikTok calling for MAGA supporters to be shot on sight. While saying pew pew, Sagari used the hand gesture mimicking firing a gun. She said, "Put them back in their basements. Make them scared again to be racist, homophobic, and terrible, just awful blank. And MAGA people deserve to be terrified and scared to walk in the streets because they should know that real Americans are going to kill them." That's the Democrat Party for you. And that's not hyperbole. That's not even the most, I would say those people aren't even the most radical of the Democrats. Yes, I do believe that there are more radical people than those out there. So I hope she gets every stinking day of that 5 years. We will find out. Tampa's FBI office shared the verdict, and good, found guilty. Put her away. Put her away. Put them all away. Anybody that makes threats like that online, put them away. Because they are a danger to society. Put away the Antifa farmer. Put that guy. Put them all away. They're dangerous. They're deranged. That is the mental illness, and it is caused by people like Abby Phillips over on CNN. It's caused by people like Anna Navarro and Sonny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg. That's what's causing all of this. They wouldn't tell you that Donald Trump did a good thing ever. Everything Donald Trump does is bad. If Donald Trump breathes, and that's what really irritates him, is that breathing that he does, that heartbeat that he has. They've already tried to assassinate the guy 3 times. You had Butler, Pennsylvania. You had Florida. You had that guy that tried to break into Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun. Yeah, they're adding up. They're dangerous. They're psychopaths. And they need to be removed from society. Because they're a danger to all of us. But again, the Democrats love criminals. We know that. We know the Democrats love criminals. We've seen there was actually, was it in? I can't remember if it was in Virginia or Minnesota. For some reason, I'm thinking Virginia. Might have been Minnesota. They were actually talking about looking into the benefits of shoplifting. The benefits of shoplifting. Forget that shoplifting causes the prices of everything to go up. No, it was Minnesota. Minnesota State Representative. I want you to listen to this. This is another member of the Minnesota legislature.
Hey, Minnesota State Representative Krista Knudsen. So today in the Labor Committee, Representative Dave Pinto requested a study for the benefits of shoplifting. There are no benefits to shoplifting for the people that are being shoplifted from. I have no idea what else to say. I'm shocked, actually. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I get it.
Who benefits from shoplifting?
Nobody. Nobody benefits from shoplifting. So then out in Portland, they've got a brand new mayor out there. By the way, this mayor of Portland, her parents pay her bills. Now listen to this. Her parents pay her bills. Her husband does not work. Follow me here. Follow me. And they have to pay for child care. Wait, what? You're telling me the husband does not work and you still have to pay for child care? What is your husband doing all day, ma'am? What is your husband doing? So she came up with this great idea that she was going to prevent grocery stores in Portland from shutting down. She wants to make it illegal for a grocery store in Portland to shut down. And it doesn't matter the reason. If you are a grocery store and you shut down, Portland will come in through eminent domain and take that property. And they're going to make their own grocery store. Do you know the number one reason grocery stores shut down? Number one reason? Theft. Theft. People are robbing them blind. Down in Charleston, there's one little section of Charleston where there's, we got to go a couple of miles to a grocery store. And people are calling it a food desert. Oh, it's a food desert. It's a food desert. There have been 3 different grocery store chains in that area. And each and every one of them shut down because they were being robbed blind. It's just not a good business model to have your merchandise going out in pockets instead of grocery bags. They were stealing from these people left and right. So they shut down. Oh, no, it's a food desert. Man, I tell you what, I got an idea. Why don't you do something about the people that are going into the grocery stores and stealing, and that way people might actually have a grocery store that they can go to. But that would make way too much sense, and it would also punish the criminals, and we know the liberals don't like to do that. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones. We'll talk to Richard in Dallas. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, I'm great, Charlie. I know you are too. I've heard everybody ask you. So, hey, man, I talked to you yesterday. I was in Green River Gorge. I'm up here in the Hickory Nut Gorge this afternoon. And all you listeners, y'all need to come up here and help these people rebuild. You don't need to help them rebuild, just support their businesses because this is really taking shape again up here due to, the devastation that happened, due to Helene.
Right.
I mean, you guys need to come up here and ride around and come up through Lake Lure and going up through Chimney Rock. The reason I called was you guys was talking earlier about the power bill situation and all this.
Yeah.
I got my power bill in my hand right here, Charlie. I got a shed that has power run to it, and it cost me $14 a month whether I turn a light on in that building or not.
Yeah.
It costs $14 just to have power run to it.
Just to have the privilege of power.
Exactly. That's exactly perfectly said. And Duke Energy now, several years ago, when they was changing these meters out, I wouldn't let them get in my backyard because it was fenced in. I had it locked off. And they sent me a letter and said that they was going to have to start charging me like $65 or $70 a month for basically the inconvenience of them having to physically read the meter.
Oh, no.
Other than that electric. Yeah, I'm serious, man.
Oh, no.
I bucked them on it. They wanted to put a new meter, and I said, no, I like this meter. They said, okay, suck on this. $70 every month unless we install the new meter. So, you know what I've done? I said, all right, come on, put the new meter in. But that's how they control people.
Right. So that way they can just sit around in their office and do nothing, and you still pay the same electric bill.
How they click in to read my meter now, I don't know if it's satellite or what, Charlie. Do you know how they do it?
It's probably internet or cell technology.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they got real huffy with me. Well, I huffed up at them, but they huffed even bigger at me.
Yeah. So you said, I'm going to save that $65, $70 a month. I appreciate it, Richard.
I ain't that damn
They'll
stupid,
always
man.
get you, man. They'll always get you.
And they always will get us.
Yep. You're right. Appreciate it, pal.
Man.
Thank you, man. And that's why when they like I get I got these thermostats, and I'll get an email probably every couple of months. Hey, don't you want to connect your thermostat to the grid and, so we can? No, I don't. No, that's actually not what I want to do. No, I don't want you controlling my thermostat. No, I'm not going to give you permission to do that. Now, I know that if they wanted to, they probably could already because my thermostat is on Wi-Fi. I mean, I can change the temperature of my house right here from my phone. So I know if they wanted to, they could do it, but we'll see. And you never know if they do. You never know if they do. That's the thing. So there you got your thermostat set on 65, and you want to say, whew, and it's still hot in here. I got it turned down. It's still hot in here. Thermostat says 65. It'll be nice and cool. Maybe it's not 65. Maybe you ought to go get another thermometer and put it in your house somewhere just to double check. Make sure they're not playing silly buggers with you. So there you go. Now, I do not know if this is true. Let me start off by saying that. But there is a report online that two members of the Seditious Six, Senators Mark Kelly of Arizona and Elissa Slotkin of Michigan, leaked classified intelligence of the Trump administration's planned attack on Iran and its supreme leader to high-ranking Iranian government officials. That, according to this person who says it's according to U.S. intelligence sources. So, hey, we'll see. We'll see if that's true. But I don't put it past Mark Kelly. I don't put it past Slotkin to do something like that. But if it comes out and that is the truth, those people need to be arrested, charged, tried, convicted of treason against the United States. Now, you remember when, what was the general's name? You remember the guy. I can't remember his name right now. But he said, General Milley said he told the Chinese counterpart that this is under the first Trump administration, he said, if the United States was going to attack China, General Milley said he would call his counterparts in China and warn them so it wasn't a surprise. That was a general that said that. And you know who agreed with him on that assessment? Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. Now, if you're a general and you call up China and you say, hey, we're going to attack at dawn, they think that's fine. But if you're a buck private and you let the enemy know that you're about to attack at dawn, what is going? You're going to Leavenworth minimum for treason. Isn't that amazing? And Lindsey Graham agreed with him on that. Oh, I agree with him 100%. Yeah, absolutely. That's the guy that you've got a chance coming up in June to get rid of. I hope you take advantage of it, because he's been in there way, way too long. WRD Talk Line 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. We'd love to chat with you this afternoon. Let's see, Charlie, all those meters are linked together, and they are boosted through boosters on streetlights that are all linked together and uploaded to the database. Really, the streetlights? I had no idea. Charlie, is it me or is the UK really our enemy? What have I been saying for the past 6 weeks? That is exactly what I've been saying for the past 6 weeks. The UK, Keir Starmer, and the City of London. Now, there's two different Londons. There's the London you think about with Tower Bridge and all of that stuff, Buckingham Palace and all that, Westminster Abbey. And then there's a thing called the City of London. The City of London, that is the financial district of London. That is globalist central. What Donald Trump is doing in Iran right now is really upsetting their little apple cart. That's why Keir Starmer, I love the fact that Keir Starmer said, oh, we're not going to help. And then they said, all right, we'll help. And Donald said, I don't need your help. We don't need your help. So, Charlie, Kelly goes on TV talking about Iran like she's Admiral Nimitz or Halsey. Yeah, I assume they're going to be talking about Megyn Kelly. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. She's just an expert on whatever the issue of the day is. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 Oh, you meant Captain Mark Kelly. I got you now. We'll be right back.
15 minutes of non-stop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD. The voice of the Carolinas.
act on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Let's head to Hendersonville and talk to Henry. How you doing, Henry?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. What's up?
I just wanted to tell you what happened when I went to Select Restaurant. So the way
Okay.
you talk it up all the time, I got people to take me there for my birthday. So I had probably the most expensive meal I've ever had, and every bite was exquisite. So the boys talked me into getting the prime rib.
Yeah.
Our service, when we finished up, one of the boys, I believe his quote was that the waitress was distressingly amazing, meaning there's no way you could give her a normal tip.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I understand. They are just that good. Hey, Henry, I'm glad you enjoyed Select Restaurant.
Everybody loved it.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay. Rand Paul is now saying that, he's a non-interventionalist. No matter what it is, he doesn't want to get involved. No matter if American lives are at risk or if American assets are at risk. And Rand Paul just doesn't want to do anything like that. Well, he warned yesterday that prolonged U.S. military action against Iran could spell disaster for Republicans in the 2026 midterm elections. Had an interview over on Fox Business News with Maria Bartiromo. He downplayed internal party division as the main risk, instead pointing to economic fallout from the conflict, which began with the joint U.S.-Israeli attack on February 28th. I think he's wrong. You know what the biggest risk of the midterms are? The fact that the body that he sits in, the United States Senate, has done absolutely nothing. You want to talk about hurting the midterm elections? Here we get over the House. They're doing all the heavy lifting right now. The House of Representatives, they're the ones. They got it together. There are over 200 bills sitting in the Senate, and none of them are getting to the floor. So what are you guys doing? Exactly. Explain how you are using your taxpayer money with your salary. What exactly are you doing? Getting up there in the floor and chatting it up? Where are the bills? And I know I've told you this before, but this Congress has sent fewer bills to the president's desk than any other Congress in the past 70 years. When's the last time you saw President Trump have a bill signing ceremony? You haven't. It's been a while. I can only think of maybe 1, 2 after the one big beautiful bill. They have done absolutely nothing. That's what's hurting. The fact that this president not only has to fight the wacko Democrats, he's got to fight the wacko Republicans as well. Republicans like Rand Paul and Massey. Yes, Massey. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there. I see this. People online, oh, Thomas Massey, I love Thomas Massey so much. He's going to be the next president. Lord, I hope not. I hope not. In fact, President Trump is in Kentucky, in Rand Paul's own district. In Thomas Massey's own district. I want you to listen to what he said about Massey.
Republican voted against. You know what the name is? He is the worst person. His name is, what the hell? How did he ever end up in Kentucky? His name is Thomas Massey. How did he ever end up here, Paul? Anyway, no, Massey voted against tax cuts for seniors. He voted against tax cuts for overtime workers. And he voted against tax cuts for earners, tip earners. No, he wanted to increase the taxes. He voted with the Democrats. He voted against our historic funding for border security. He voted against border security, where we took the worst border in the history of our country, made it the best border in the history of our country in 2.5 months. He voted against it. And he voted against eligibility verification for welfare recipients. Nobody has to be eligible. Just pick up whatever you want.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, Massey is nothing but an obstructionist. That's it. Rand Paul, same boat. Let's go to Larry in Cleveland County. Larry, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, I just want to ask you a question. Do you remember back in the day when your word was your bond?
Yeah.
If I told you I'm coming over to your house to help you do this, I do what I say, and I say what I mean.
You show
remember
up.
Those days? Hey,
Yeah.
you remember the days when we had payphone and you had to make an effort to call somebody?
Yeah.
You had to show up. That's what we're missing in this country, a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
You have to make an effort to call somebody, not text them, I love you, but call them. And better yet, go show up.
Well,
You know
that's
what I mean?
it. We have just lost, and you got to blame the internet and, of course, cell phones for all that. We've lost interpersonal communication. In fact, did you know that the younger generation right now consider calling somebody before texting them rude?
Right, and I'm guilty of that too, and I'm trying to get away from that. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have to be Americans, and it's not a black-white thing. It's an American thing, and people need to realize that and wake up.
Yeah, right. It's an interpersonal thing. In fact, yeah, I appreciate it, Larry. The other night, I was thinking about my best friend, Pat. And I said, I'm going to send him a text. I said, no, I'm not going to send him a text. I'm going to call him. So I called him and I said, this is your checkup. I'm checking up on you to see how everything is going, making sure you're healthy and you're happy and you've got lots of hope for the future. And that's exactly the way I put it. And we had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. We talked about pets. We talked about sourdough. We talked about all kinds of stuff. And yes, that was a wonderful part of my day. Let's go to Everett in Spartanburg. Everett, welcome.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good, man. What's up?
We're talking about energy. I was upset when I got my Duke Power. I mean, when I got my Piedmont Natural Gas bill.
Yeah.
And I called them, and I was looking at my bill, going over my bill, and you purchase therms, THERMS, therms.
Yeah.
So I asked them. I said, how many gallons are in a therm? They wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell me.
Right.
So I Googled it. There's 1.9 gallons in a therm. So that made my natural gas bill, it's almost $3.50 a gallon for what we're paying for natural gas.
Yeah, that's more expensive than the gas you're putting in your car. You're right about that, Everett. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Why are state legislatures... Oh, silly me. I almost said why our state legislature isn't doing anything is beyond me, but then I thought, no, you've met your state legislature. They're not going to do anything, right? So, all right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Y'all have a lovely evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.
When he's not mowing his